Sorry, I've been behind a little bit in my posting of my videos, but we just ended. We just ended with interpretation number 2, where Joseph told the baker what was about to happen to him. So we end chapter 40 today with verses 20 to 23. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday. That's right. It was Pharaoh's birthday. 3 days had lapsed since Joseph interpreted the dreams of the 2 distinguished prisoners. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all his servants. You see, this was a holiday season celebrated at court with great pomp, great magnificence, and great celebration, often honored by the free pardon of prisoners. Sometimes prisoners were made when Pharaoh just lost his temper. Get rid of him. Or, like Alice in Wonderland, where the Queen of Hearts said, off with her head, off with her head. You know, this is what happened. So you see, distinguishing a birthday by a feast. Now, you got to get this. Distinguishing a birthday by a feast seems to have taken place since very, very early times. It was a very ancient custom. It probably had its origin from the notion of the immortality of the soul. As a day of birth would be considered a great consequence to that person who believed the spirit would live forever. Oh, wow, this is my 40th year. Oh, wow, this is my 41st year, etc., etc. Now, the last part of verse 20 tells us that Pharaoh lifted up the head of the chief butler and the chief baker among his servants. When they were summoned into the presence of Pharaoh, they were ordered to stand up straight, holding their heads up high, while they awaited the decision. In one of the television shows our family watches, it's called Master Chef, when the judges are about to make a decision of who stays and who will be sent home, there's a suspense-filled moment. We wait with bated breath until the ultimate announcement is made. And then suddenly, bang! The announcement is made. And we're either surprised or cheering. Well, that's the moment that happened here. Their heads were raised, and they awaited the outcome of Pharaoh's decision. So it was with the 2 prisoners from prison. The same image unfolds of their heads lifted as Joseph had predicted. And then we read, and he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. At the same moment. Wow! It's incredible. The chief butler ministered to him in his office the same day, according to his dream and the interpretation of it. And then we read, but he hanged the chief baker as Joseph had interpreted to them. While the chief baker was still wondering what was going on, he may have still been standing straight. What's going on? Off with his head! Big sharp sword chopped his head off. And his body was taken to be hung, just as Joseph had said. Doubtless Joseph felt it painful to communicate such sad and dismal tidings to the baker. But he could not help, as we said before, announcing what God had revealed to him, and it was for the honor of the true God that he had spoken truthfully. The issue of the trial was that the baker alone was found guilty and hanged, and the butler, being acquitted, was restored to his office. Besides, one of Joseph's duties, if you recall, was to befriend the prisoners and ascertain their guilt or innocence. As you speak to them, you get the sense, they really did, etc. Simply put, Pharaoh ordered the baker to be hanged because he was found to have consulted to kill him, to poison him. That's all it was. So although everything was fulfilled exactly as Joseph had predicted, yet the chief butler did not remember Joseph. Instead, he forgot him. The chief butler did not speak of him to Pharaoh, neither on that day in which he was restored, nor for a long time after. In fact, he never more thought of him, of the favor he had done him in interpreting his dream, of the requests he made to him, and of the promise which, by the way, is not mentioned in the Bible, but the promise which he had probably given him. Yes, I will. Don't worry. If this is true. You know what? This shows great ingratitude, doesn't it? To this, I had a thought that went through my head. Promises were meant to be broken, right? Wrong. Although Jesus was talking about promising something by swearing an oath in Matthew 5:37, this is still appropriate. But let your communication be yes, yes, or no, no. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Folks, if that in other words, our word should be our bond. This is what Jesus was telling his disciples. If you say something, make it so. Don't say something and then lie. Do you realize that's one of the commandments? Thou shalt not be a false witness. If people are going to think, all Christians are like that because he's like that, that's portraying a false witness. Well, it is notable that eventually the chief butler did keep his word. But it was all in God's timing. So Joseph would be available for God's purposes for the right time and the right place.